Well,
My favorite day of the week.
Well, so anyway, why don't we, let's take a look at our board and find out what we need to know to set us up for today's walk.
All right.
So it looks like in the huddle this morning that they made a few notes in the recognition section. So it looks like Mary came in early to help us on Monday to catch up. So why don't we all make sure that we thank her for that in person? And then we definitely need to congratulate Betty on her recent graduation.
Okay, I also want to make sure that we congratulate the residents for coming up with their hand washing trigger. It really has made a difference.
And I'll connect with Mary and Betty. I'll also reinforce the bad traffic on 23 as we interact with the team.
Yeah, that's really important. That's great, guys. So let's quickly take a look at our measures they updated this morning. So it looks like we are green on 3 of them. So safety is still green, financial stewardship is green, and engagement is green. However, we are still red on both quality and on delivery. So why don't we make sure that we each discuss that with the team as we're making our way around.
Okay.
And then they did document 2 problems this morning at the huddle as well, one under delivery and one under safety. And it's probably reasonable to assume that this issue in the supply room is why they flagged us red in relation to our daily safety question. So why don't we go out and see if we can get maybe Sam, Chris, and Pat to come over really quick and help us talk through these and maybe prioritize them a little.
Sounds
Sure.
good.
Sam, Chris, Pat, thanks so much for just taking a minute to join us this morning and helping us to prioritize the problems from this morning's huddle.
No problem.
So why don't we take a look at the safety issue in the supply room first, where the box fell. If we were to resolve this, would it have a low or high impact on our goals?
Definitely high.
Okay, what about the amount of effort for us to try to address it?
I think it's low. I actually have a few ideas already on things we could do.
That sounds great. So why don't we go ahead and place this one in our high impact, low effort section, because it is something that we could probably create an everyday lean idea for. And let's do the same thing with our add-ons problem that you guys talked about this morning too. Do you guys think our issue with add-ons is high or low impact on our goals?
Definitely high.
Okay, what about the amount of effort for us to address this?
I do know that add-ons are a necessary evil for us to meet our access goals.
Yeah, you know, Rowan, while that is true, I do wonder if there are some things that we might be able to try to do to still meet our access goals and reduce the number of add-ons.
This seems like a high effort that would involve a lot of different folks' input.
All right, you guys have me convinced. Why don't we place this one in this upper right quadrant? And you know, as I look at this a little bit, there might actually be some overlap between our issues with add-ons and our patients waiting too long. So why don't we just plan to bring that to our next department meeting and see if we can get a few folks that are willing to work together and partner on creating an A3.
That sounds good.
All right, so why don't we take a look at our everyday lean ideas and see if we have any new ones. So it does look like Pat did provide us a new idea. Pat, would you be willing to share that idea with us? Yeah, sure thing. I was having all kinds of trouble loading these films for the patients, and it significantly slows down our day all the time. You know, and I happened to mention this to Karen, and she seemed to think that we could page radiology, and she could load it into the system while the patient is waiting. That way, once we're with the patient, we could just bring it all right up.
Yeah, I routinely have this same problem actually.
All right, you know what, guys? This seems like a no-brainer. I'm going to go ahead and just check Just Do It on here, and I'm going to slide it into the Do It section. And then if the 2 of you are willing, can you just partner with Karen to get an experiment going?
Yeah, we'll definitely do that. I'm actually really excited to see how this one turns out.
Okay, and thanks to you 3 for joining us. We'll see you as we make our way around the clinic. All right, and then as for you guys, I think we have a pretty good plan. So why don't we just split up and plan to meet back here in about a half hour? And let's just each make sure that we bring a couple of blank Eli forms with us, so just in case anybody has any ideas along the way.
All right, sounds good. I'm planning to observe the patient intake process today since there's been some miscommunication as of late around this.
Great idea, Rowan. I'm planning to go to check in with the nurses and get a feel of how things are going this week.
Okay, sounds good. We'll see you in a little bit.
All right, sounds good.
Hey, Terry. How's it going, buddy?
Oh, good. How you doing?
Good, good. Can you set aside a couple of minutes to have a quick chat?
Sure. What's up?
Well, I wanted to give you an update on one of the immediate action items that I was following up on from yesterday. I did speak with the lab, and they're willing to develop that priority appointment process for us. They just need some kind of visual indicator from us to accompany the patient.
Oh, that's music to my ears, and actually I was really hoping that you would say that because I did put some time into creating an everyday lean idea on that exact issue.
Oh, that is perfect. Thanks for doing that.
You're very welcome.
And since we've talked about this already and it's basically approved, I'm just going to go ahead and click check do it and just put it directly into the do it section when I get back.
Sounds great. Thank you so much.
All right, thanks, Terry.
All right.
Hey, Sam, long time no talk.
Hey, yeah, how you doing?
I'm doing well, I'm doing well. Can you set aside a couple more quick minutes for a short chat?
Sure.
Well, we noticed when we were doing our huddle at the board, the leaders were doing their huddle at the board, that our quality and delivery metrics were both red, but we didn't have a lot of surface problems related to it. Do you have any ideas as to why?
Well, there have been several occasions this week where we went to schedule a follow-up appointment and the physician's availability was not known. On top of that, key information needed to schedule the patient was missing in the system. Therefore, we needed to track down the physician, slowing down the checkout process, as well as taking the physician away from their current patient.
Wow. What ideas do you have to address the problem?
You're asking me?
Well, of course.
Well, what if there was a visual trigger alerting the physicians of key information we needed in order to check out the patient? Even better, what if it didn't let them advance in the system until it was entered?
Interesting. I couldn't help it over here. I was just talking with another clinic, and they're describing a similar system that they're using. Why don't I reach out to them and learn more about what they're doing?
Okay, Chris, thanks for jumping in. That'd be great. When I get back from the leadership walk, I'm going to update the immediate action items around this. And then if what the two of you learn is promising, can you partner together to create an everyday lean idea?
Yeah, we'll do.
Okay. And then, Sam, since you also mentioned that you had a couple of ideas on how to make the storage room safe, would you also be willing to complete an everyday lean idea for that?
Sure, but do I really need to fill out the everyday lean idea? Can I just go ahead and make the changes?
Yeah, I actually would really like you to complete the form. Ideas that are written down and formally tracked are much more likely to be tried, and it also allows us to better communicate the idea and its status across the whole group.
Okay, I'll go ahead and fill it out.
Thank you. Hey, Alex. Yeah. I don't mean to stop you. Can you just set aside a couple minutes to have a quick chat?
Sure, man. What's up?
Well, I noticed that there seemed to be some confusion with our room flags. Can you share your perspective as to why that might be happening?
Oh, absolutely, man. Some people just don't want to use them.
Well, why do you think that is?
Well, not everyone responds to them when we change it.
But why do you think that is?
Well, over time, different MA and physician groups created different meanings for the lights. Once we began to cross-cover for each other, it was really hard to know which system we were following. So we just kind of fake our way through it, man.
Huh. Well, do you have any ideas on what we might be able to do within the clinic to try to keep that from happening?
But I think if we all got together for 20 minutes or so, I bet we could come up to some agreements about what each color means. That way it would be consistent for the entire clinic.
All right, well, who would be a good lead for you to potentially partner with on this?
Well, Dr. Smith's been the most vocal about it. Perhaps she would be willing to be the champion.
Okay, you know what? I'm going to see Dr. Smith a little bit later. I'll go ahead and follow up with her and see if she's willing to do that. Thanks so much for thinking this through with me.
Hey, man, you're very welcome. Hey, by the way, I've been meaning to ask you this. How long are we planning to huddle for?
Well, what do you mean?
Like, when's this whole lean and daily work stuff complete?
Oh, I see. Well, Alex, it's important to remember that lean and daily work isn't a project with an end date, that we're trying to build ongoing improvement into the daily operations of our clinic.
So you're telling me, man, this is going to go on forever?
Well, it might not always look exactly like this. We can always make changes, but we are going to always have a daily system in place to try to drive improvement. We just got to remember that the system is dependent on the active involvement of individuals like you.
Well, okay, man. I do appreciate you asking my opinion on this. The call light debacle's been a real pain for a long time, so I can see how we'll all benefit if we can stick with this over time.
Thanks, Alex. Have a good rest of your day.
Hey,
Fist
man.
bump.
You too, man.
Take care. Hey, welcome back everybody. So how did your walks go?
I was able to connect with the residents. They seemed very appreciative of the recognition. I was also able to observe the intake for 2 patients. I realized that I've been leaving out a couple things because I thought the MAs were going over it. I'm going to pull the team together and make sure that we're all on the same page as we move forward.
So I was able to connect with Mary and Betty, and they seemed to really appreciate the recognition. I also met with 4 of the nurses to better understand what's been frustrating them. And through a quick conversation, we were able to begin 2 ELIs around problems that relate to the way they're documenting like need for follow-up. And it appears that they're all using different ways to document the same thing, and this is causing like all kinds of problems. And so they seem really optimistic around some ideas they want to use to address this.
Yeah, it sounds like we each kind of really had a productive time out in the clinic today, and I also had a really rewarding experience. It really is great to see our staff and our faculty addressing the root causes of our problems every single day. And I'm going to even highlight that in our recognition, just to kind of give some kudos to the team around that. And so speaking of updating the board, why don't we each go through and just update our respective actions from our walk. And so some of the things that I encountered were that I had Terry provide me an everyday lean idea regarding creating a visual cue in the lab, which I'm going to go ahead and place just here in the do it section. In that walk, I interacted with Pat, and Pat was willing to go ahead and create the idea around the safety issue we have in our supply room. So I'm just going to go ahead and add Pat's name on there, and I'm going to put today's date on there, place that into our parking lot. And then we had an immediate action. We got a couple of folks on the quality side that are going to be following up a little bit to go ahead and see if we can't possibly partner to create a few everyday lean ideas around some other issues. So we'll make sure we track back with them as well. And then we got to wrap up our walk by each initialing on our roll call section to show that we went ahead and walked today. So I'll go ahead and start, and then I'll just pass the marker right along to you guys. All right, thanks a lot, guys. So thanks for joining me today.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
We'll do it again.
Yep, we'll do it again.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Yep.
See ya.